Yeah, Arch's Garage. Huh? Yeah, oh yeah, I do repairs and tune-ups. Huh? You want a tune-up? Sure, yeah, it's about $90, but the shop around the corner gets that, but they're like weeks and months, and I do a better job, and I clean everything, and I make it nice, and, what? You say it needs a carburetor cleaning, right? So you determine that it needs a carburetor cleaning? Then if you know what's wrong with it, then what are you telling me for? It doesn't run. Okay, that's not a tune-up, man. That's a repair. Ever one of them days where you're trying to get stuff done and, you know, it's just... Alright, so in this episode, I wanted to show you guys a few things, stuff I like and that I don't like about these crappy box store machines, right? I mean, they fall apart and they rust out. Anyway, I did a whole bunch of them already, and I don't know if I'm going to release them all, when they all get released, but this is like your basic machine. You're going to find them. MTD makes the body, whatever, the Briggs overhead valve. They come with Hondas and a few others and a big, you know, some of them actually had the older Briggs. That's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to put an older Briggs on this one. Why? Why, Arch? Well, first of all, let me show you. Now, this piece here, and we'll get close-ups, right? This is your blade adapter hub. So this is front-wheel drive, and this one's a 1-inch shaft, all right? This one I dug out. The one that was on here, somebody hit something and just wiped these pins, shit all of this. I threw it out. It's already out in the garbage pile, out there in the garden. I should have showed you, but just take it from me. All right, so I got another blade. I cleaned up another nice blade. That's another thing I got to do today, right? I got a nice, cleaned up, sharpened up and balanced blade. I put the thing on, I cleaned the carburetor. This thing was really dirty. I took all the plastics off. The cable was jammed stuck for the drive. The ignition cable was jammed stuck. I mean, it was really bad. Took that cable out. I had to lock the end in a vise and give it a yank, and it's okay. It needed to be freed up and lubricated and cleaned out. So all that's working now. The carburetor was really bad. It had sucked in. Sometimes I've seen it where they suck in the air cleaner. The air cleaner gets really dirty, and then it gets wet or whatever, and it will suck it in. There was a lot of junk in this carburetor. So, and the motor was questionable. It was really dirty. It was bad. And you can see there's some rust here. It's odd because the paint is nice. The underbody, which we'll look at in a bit, is not bad. But the motor is, well, is very kind of like rusty, and it was full of gack. I got it running, and it runs okay, and I suspect there might be some more junk in the carburetor. So that's a little questionable. But my real issue is this, okay? And let's just flip it real quick. The real issue is this here. And I'll get you in close, but this is the 7/8 shaft, I think it is. This is the 1-inch or 3/4, whatever. I think it's 3/4. I'll measure it in a minute. I just forget because I don't care. Right? All I can tell you is, right? For some reason or other, usually on most of the motors, they will use the bigger shaft, and they'll reserve that shaft for driven, transmission style setups. And the smaller shaft, they'll put on like a push with just a blade. Well, not now. Not in this case. So Briggs has changed a bunch of things, and on their motors, on their configurations, and I'll show you in a minute. All right, the other issue I have is one of the other motors I have, they changed the hat and the gas tank. So I'm going to show you that. You cannot go backwards. Like once they change the hat and the gas tank, you can't go backwards. I tried modifying things. Let me get out of here. I'll be right back. I want to show you some more stuff. Yeah, you're killing me, Briggs. You're killing me, Empty Date. What do you mean you hit something? Okay, what did you hit? All right, so I got everything laid out, so just want to show you real quick, and we'll get some close-ups too. All right, so this is the motor I just took off. So this is the 7/8 shaft. This is a 1-inch shaft, and this is one that came on another frame, and it's a newer style, and it uses supposedly made in the U.S. whatever. They labeling this as a Craftsman 7.25, 163 cc. Wow, right? So it's got the newer style hat, all right, and cover. And then if you look here, and you'll see, and I'll get the close-up, it uses this style pull start, which is different, okay? So the pull start goes on, same bolts, and then the hat goes on, as opposed to usually what you would have is the pull start hat. And what's different, and again, we'll get in a little closer, is this whole bottom plate. And I tried hacking this one up to see if I could make the mod. Why? Because they made the gas tank just like a few ounces bigger with a bigger filler neck. And I've gotten a whole bunch of these in where they're missing the gas cap. So I thought, well, is there any way I could put like a standard tank on, because I have a whole bunch of these? The answer is no. Okay, it's different. It will hit the air cleaner cover assembly. It just will not go on. It's not going to cooperate with you. And like I said, I tried hacking it up. The top won't go on. Only this top will go on. So the pull starter won't go on then. So you can't do it. You're saying, oh, why don't you just get a gas cap? Well, listen, fellas, I got so much of this stuff. For the cost of a gas cap, I buy these machines. So I wind up with all this extra stuff, which is important when you're servicing them and fixing them up. Sometimes for a little bit more than the cost of a gas cap, I get a whole machine with all of its parts. So the object is to go through this stuff and to let you guys know a little bit. This is like mid-season. The time to sell machines without bags or just simple, cheesy push machines is like the beginning of the year through to about the middle of the year. You get towards the end of the year, nobody wants them. Right? They're going to want baggers. They're going to want, they self-propelled, whatever. This is a nice self-propelled machine. Like I said, it's in good shape. So, and then of course you get this style, right? And this, I guess it's like a friction wear piece. It always falls apart, falls off. I don't know what to say. They keep changing stuff, and that's where the problem. Now, oddly, this bigger motor just has a blade adapter on it, and it doesn't have a drive system, whatever. So this one I checked out, it runs good. I cleaned up the engine, it gets like 150 PSI. I went through the carburetor, I ran it, it runs fine. I don't have the top for it. One way to do it would be to get a donor motor, which this one is questionable, or I throw them out from time to time. So now I know, keep one of these around, but if you want to use the more common conventional top, and for somebody like me, that is the thing. We could take the flywheel off, I believe, and then you could take this piece off, last I remember, and it just unbolts, and you got to do the swap. But you can take the flywheel off. So I know this is a good motor. I just wanted to show you guys how they've been changing things. They also changed this top a little bit, so you're going to have the correct air cleaner and cover. That's another problem for another day, right? So they changed it, and it's driving me nuts. It drives me a little bit nuts. That's basically the differences with these, and here's where this came in. This probably came off of one of these, because I can always tell by the pattern. It's the new style pattern for blade location. And it uses this type of blade, which I already have one cleaned. I got to go clean a bunch of blades, fellas. And because the motor we're going to put on, we're going to take a look at next, is going to be an older flathead Briggs. And so we'll talk about that in a minute. But remember, all right, the carburetor seems to be the same. The air cleaner is a little bit different. The whole outer assembly, pole start, and everything is different. They come with push prime or automatic choke, and those things are different. And a lot of times with the automatic chokes, people don't put these covers on right. They bend the rods, they screw them all up. I just had one recently where that was a thing. All right, let me clear the table, label this, put some stuff away, and we'll be back with the Briggs. Well, what we want to do is, I'm busy right now, man, so I can't, No, I don't do pickups on lawnmowers. Right, you can drop it off. They fit in cars and stuff, and most people have SUVs, and they're kind of lightweight. All right, so now that stuff's out of the way, and like I said, it can be a moneymaker, because there's 3 bolts that hold the top on. It's easy to take those off and clean everything up. The carburetors survive a little bit better with the alcohol and the junk and the gas. And if everything is in good shape, I do a lot of like tune-ups on those. That's what's out there. It's going to be out there today. Unless you want like a Power Smart, like that one that Taro did the other day. I had a piece of... I thought these were bad. So this one's in good shape, right? Front wheel drive. I already cleaned everything up, as you can see. We just need to put a little grease. And no, not grease. We got to just lube up the front a little bit and the spindles, right? And then that should be fine. So now we need a motor, and I had this one laying around. This one was from a Troy-built, self-propelled. Okay, close enough, right? And it's been, I think I've had this like 2 years, right? I have a whole bunch of them put aside. A lot of times I'll clean them and put them inside or whatever. This one didn't really need it. It's an automatic choke. Carburetor is over there somewhere. We got to go through it and clean it. She's a nice motor. Looks like it has, close enough to the right pulley size. We're going to find out in a minute. It should be. I measured it. Nice Briggs 190cc flathead, and it's in nice shape, and automatic choke, and I've got plenty of these carburetors, and I think it's fine. And like I said, I put it up on the rack, left it outside for like 2 years. It should be okay. It seemed like it was all together. Came off of a machine that got wrecked. Now, one of the problems with these these flatheads, especially where I am, right, with the salt and the humidity from the ocean, and the salt on the roads and the winters, you'll go to take the bolts out, and all it takes is for one to break. And I don't fix this anymore. I just don't. It's not worth it. So those motors become parts motors, and a lot of the machines that have been sitting too long, laying on the ground, that's what happens. I don't see that with other motors so much. I see it with these older 190cc. It has happened to one of the newer overhead valves. I'm not saying it hasn't, but a lot of it's where I live and where they put the lawnmower and how they store it. So we got a good motor. Let's pop this on, and we go back to factory, right? Back to kind of like, good old school. All right, we're just gonna run this through because they use self crappers and it makes a mess. So just a quickie. All right, pull this out, and I'll do the others, and then we're gonna run the wire wheel over this and this. We want to make sure that these pins are in good shape, the locators are all good, and that you get a good crisp mount, right? Because otherwise you kick the blade and you'd be surprised. You'll wear the bearing and you'll have a lousy cut and it'll vibrate. You'll have a harmonic. So we'll do that and we'll mount it. Hello, Arch's Garage. Yeah, you need a lawnmower. What are you looking for? A red one. Why do you need a red one? Does it matter the color? You want a red one? Yeah, I got one here. Yeah, it's basically all done. Yeah. Yeah, no, the motor's fine. Okay. Yeah, busy right now, so you can't come now. No, you can't. I'm busy right now. Right in the middle of something here. I wanted to show you guys something. So you see this one? This one's a nicer one, a nicer shape. I took it off of a beat motor that had a broken bolt. But see how nice it is? Whereas this one's all abraded. I just took this off for cleaning. Now what happens is it'll braid, but what's abrading, the dirt gets in and the vibrations will cause the block to wear. And I just tried this one. It was tight in the motor that I took it out of. It was sloppy, just like this one. Let's go look at the motor. So you may not see it, but what'll happen is it'll actually wear the bore. So all the oil's out of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean it a little bit more with a little bit of, like gum out or something. Wipe it down, and then we'll put just like a little light bead, a little light coating of some black RTV. Just use black, and then we'll put everything back. All right. Of course, while you're there, fellas, now what's very common is this gets all gooled up with dirt and oil and underneath here. So don't forget, occasionally clean that off because you're going to wind up knocking it back into your oil. When you check your oil, you do an oil change. All right, we're good here. It looks like it's good. We have some slack. We'll put the cover on after we do a test because we don't know. This bolt, this actually, the thread and the block stripped out, which is common because they're using these, Bork bolts. So I just put a different bolt in there, a little bit, like a 5/16 nut on the other end with a washer. We're good here. Let's keep going. All right, quick peek in here, fellas, just to make sure nobody spun the key or anything. she looks good, right? Doesn't she look good? I tighten this up, make sure that was tight. Gap looks good. We'll put a little oil in that, make sure it springs back. Just a little oil, it'll burn off, it'll carbonize. The warranty? No, guarantee. Yeah, guarantee that when you're here, it'll start and everything, and when you leave the property, it'll work and all that. But there's no warranty, not for that price. No, I can do it for that price. No, you don't get a... All right, it looks good. All right, I'm happy with it. It came pretty clean. Put my special sauce, my transmission fluid mix, on this and let it sit for a little bit. All the parts are there. We're going to put this back together. I clean the plug. I'm going to put a little no-sees on it, make sure it's gapped well. And then we'll, oh, we're getting close to doing a test. All right, that one's no good. Okay, so I'm going to replace that end. And, yeah, we're getting there, fellas. Almost. Simple, right? I just took it off another one that was good. You know, I have a lot of spares, and I save stuff like that from machines that are dead. All right, so you just want to make sure that this operates properly. I usually have a little bit of a gap here. And remember, I mentioned just a drop of oil down there. So you want to make sure that, all right, when it's fully open, right, the choke is fully open, it's not going to be hitting anything, and that it closes. Make sure the shaft is clean in here. A drop of oil is all you need. You want everything to move on that spring. That's why when dirt gets stuck in here, you'll notice the choke won't work right? It might stay open, it may stay closed. Yeah, good luck. You gotta clean this stuff every now and then, fellas. Good oil going in. It's a nice Shell Rotella 15W for the older generation. Okay, you know, it's got a little wear and tear on it. Let's get that in, get some fuel in it. We'll bring it out for a test. I put some gas in it, but it's leaking. It could be from this hose. It's kind of loose. So we're just going to trim that hose a little bit and see if that fixes it. All right, I just trim that end. Looks like I spilled gas. Looks like it's good. All right, let's give it a test now. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I'm right in the middle of this.
Call from wireless caller.
Hold on. Hello, Arch's Garage. Huh? I don't... Sir, hold on. I don't need a burial property at Pleasant Valley Cemeteries. Okay, sir, I can't afford one. I can barely afford the property that I'm living at. I can't really afford the one that I'm dying at. Or going to be dying in. Or dying for. All right, yeah, all right, please take the number off of the call list. All right. All right, let's give it a tug. Do a test. Nice! Let it run. I'll check the RPM. Let's give it another start. It's going to burn off a little oil and stuff. So as I mentioned, this has already been washed out. I knew this was all good. Little grease and no grease. I can't go there again. And a little oil, a little lubricant on everything. Same thing back here. Check on the cables, just a few other things. And we'll be done. All right, fellas. Ladies, what do you guys think? I think it came out pretty good. A little super clean. Went a long way on this one. A little super clean on, you know, clean everything up when I was cleaning it because it was really bad. A little super clean on this engine after I dug it out and I rinsed it with the hose. Threw a little bit of paint on it. You know, just some Rust-Oleum black. And I just went over, I just got to tighten this guy here. Sometimes they lose the nut. So you want to check that stuff. Check all the hardware here. A lot of times that's the issue is I get missing pieces. Little nut in here falls out. it's really not hard to swap out a motor. So for some of you that are just kind of starting out that don't know that you can swap a motor, this is the reliable 190 cc Briggs and Stratton flathead. Pull out of inventory. We had that one issue with the bolt over here. This is what you're going to run into when you do a swap or whatever, something like this. You're going to find these little problems. Mostly this was all little problems, plus a service and a tune, right? So a bunch of little problems. I've got some extra parts over there, and I've got those other machines to go through. I'll be doing that tomorrow, probably the rest of this week as well. Get rid of this stuff. This is the time of year. It won't sell at the end of the year. It sells up to about now. A bag for this is about $60. Just simply go, the tags are still on it, to go over to the tag, get your model number. They fit into a cleat over here, so it's the bag with the little prongs that stick out, little like pins, locating pins towards the bottom of the bag. They just kind of fit into a pocket here. But again, you can look up your model number. So for something like this, a bag at $60, maybe you bought this for $100. It's $160 for a 300 and something. This is like almost $400. This is about $375 or something. It's like $320, $325 for the model without any power assist. So no transmission, no front wheel drive, no rear wheel drive. So I forget what these are. But they're about close to $400. So I think this is a worthy machine. It was a worthy swap. Rescued the machine. The body was good. It does have that telltale cracks that I often talk about over here, which result ultimately in the demise of these frames, right? The motor might last, but I get a lot of these where the frame just rots away, twists off. The front section here harbors all that dirt and that moisture, and it rots the front of the frame. The body, I took the cover off, I cleaned it out. It was pretty nasty. We pulled the cable, like I mentioned earlier. You saw a little leak. There was just a couple of little things really that kind of cropped up, and that's common. It's common in general, but doing a swap, it's something you want to look for. So overall, I mean, this is what's out there now, fellas. I have some extra parts too as well. I have the high wheel, I have more front wheels. You got to lube these wheels, even on the push, and particularly in the front on the push. Those wheels will just literally rot on, and there's a steel sleeve that's sort of pressed into the plastic wheel, and that'll rot on, and you'll never get it off. You can't really heat those shafts. These shafts actually snap out. Anyway, that's all part of another thing. So just another day. Check out Super Clean, and I use it. It's very helpful. A lot of times I mix it 50%. I don't need it full strength. Right? It's like Purple Power or what have you. But good company. Thanks for their support. Reaching out to them as well, helping to support this channel. If you guys like the content so far and you're getting some value out of it, please hit the like and subscribe or leave a comment. And I think that's it, fellas. I am done for today. I will see you on the next episode of Archer's Garage.